Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Simplifying Sustainability. I'm Anubha Batla, founder of Neti. Today, we are going beyond climate charts and carbon footprints. This episode is about something more personal. It's about how we live, how our cities are designed, and how our daily choices can make our life healthier, fairer, and more joyful, and not just less harmful. To help us explore this, I'm once again joined by Lieutenant Colonel Ashok Ray Chaudhary. Sir has spent 29 years in the Indian Army and nearly a decade in senior corporate roles in telecom. Sir has seen how systems, cities, and communities work in practicality. And today we are talking about a simple but powerful idea. Sustainability is not a burden, but it can actually be a better way to live. So let's start with the title that we have for our episode today, Sustainability Beyond Climate. It's about how people live. When you hear that, what does it mean to you in everyday terms?
Thanks, Anuba. For a long time, sustainability has been framed as sacrifice. Give up this, don't do that, feel guilty about your lifestyle. That makes it feel like homework or punishment. The shift we are talking about is very different. It says that if sustainability is about designing a life that is easier, healthier, and more dignified, and as a side effect, it also happens to be a good for the planet. So instead of you must, it becomes you would actually prefer to live this way because your commute is cleaner, your neighborhood is safer, your home is healthier, and your community is stronger.
I like that. It moves us from guilt to aspiration. It is not about living less, it is about living better. And you've seen a lot of these interconnections through sustainability, equity, health lens. But could you also walk us through what happens when we stop seeing sustainability as just climate and start seeing it as how people live?
Yeah, imagine three overlapping circles: sustainability, social equity, and health. Our habits are formed this way. When we design a neighborhood or transport system with these three in mind, the benefits multiply. For example, if a city reduces its dependence on cars and designs walkable shaded street with good public transport, you don't just cut emissions, you also improve the air quality, reduce urban heat, make streets safer for children and older people, support local shops, and encourage daily physical activity. That leads to fewer non communicable diseases, better mental health, lower healthcare costs, and even higher productivity at work. One smart design choice unlocks environmental, social, economic, and health benefits together.
So that means one good decision, like rethinking how people move, suddenly touches everything from air quality and health to jobs and tax revenue. That is a very different picture from just plant more trees. Let us zoom in on homes and daily routines. How does designing a better life show up in the way we build and live, not just in big policies?
In homes, sustainability can mean better daylight, cross ventilation, non toxic materials, and access to green spaces. That reduces energy use, yes, but it also means fewer respiratory problems, better sleep, lower bills, and more comfortable living. Think of small design nudges: building with stairs that are visible and inviting so people actually use them. safe cycling routes for children to go to school, local parks within walking distance. These are all sustainability decisions, but most people experience them as my life feels easier, my family is healthier, and my neighborhood feels alive.
That is a very powerful reframing. We are not just saving kilowatts, we are designing comfort. You often talk about social equity as a core part of sustainability. How do equity and access fit into this idea of living well together?
If only a small privileged group can access green, walkable, healthy spaces, then that's not sustainability. That's lifestyle branding. True sustainability says everyone deserves clean air, safe mobility, access to services, and a sense of belonging. Think of affordable housing near jobs and public transport, accessible childcare, safe footpath for people with disabilities, community spaces where everyone feels welcome. When we design for equity, we strengthen the social fabric. People trust each other more. Local businesses thrive, and cities become more resilient in today's world. Whether it's a heat wave, a flood, or economic crisis, we are all then geared up for it.
So then we can learn that sustainability is not just green, it is also fair. And if it leaves people behind, it is not truly sustainable. Let us talk about that mindset shift that you mentioned earlier, from don't do this to this actually makes your life better. How does that play out in practical examples?
Take transport. The old message was don't drive, you are increasing emissions. That creates resistance. The new message can be if you have safe cycling lanes, good buses, and shaded walkways, your commute becomes cheaper, less stressful, and healthier. And by the way, the emissions also drop. The personal benefit comes first, the climate benefit is embedded. Or think about food and waste. Instead of telling people, don't waste food, don't use plastic, design a system where refills are convenient, repair services are nearby, composting is easy or even handled by the municipality, and fresh local food is accessible. People don't feel they are sacrificing. They feel the system is helping them to live better.
So then the question becomes, how do we design systems where the default easiest choice also happens to be the sustainable one? You've mentioned invisible design and nudges. Can you explain how making sustainability invisible actually makes it stronger?
The most powerful sustainable choices are the ones people don't have to think about. When cities' electricity grid quietly shifts to renewables, every household becomes greener overnight without changing their behavior. When buildings are designed to stay cool naturally, people will use less air conditioning without feeling deprived. This is where ideas like nudge theory come in, placing healthier and lower impact options at eye level, making public transport intuitive and well connected, defaulting people into better choices rather than relying on constant willpower. It respects people's busy life and recognizes that behavior change is much easier when systems carry part of the load.
That really flips the script from change people first, then systems, to change systems so people can live better almost automatically. Culture and habits are a big part of how we live, especially in India. How do local wisdom and community traditions fit into this idea of designing a better life?
In many cultures, including ours, the answers have been lying in plain sight: shared courtyards, community water system, repair and reuse, climate sensitive architecture, and strong social networks. These aren't just nostalgic stories, they are blueprints for low impact, high quality living. When we update these ideas with modern technology like efficient transport, digital tools, and better materials, we get something more powerful. You can have a modern lifestyle that still carries the wisdom of living within limits, sharing resources, and caring for the commons. Sustainability becomes a way of living together, not an environmental agenda sitting outside everyday life.
Sir, if you had to give our listeners one simple way to rethink sustainability after this episode, something that they can hold on to in their own lives, what would it be?
I would say stop asking, what should I give up? And start asking, what should be a better day in my life look like? And how can design, habits, and community make that normal? When we chase better lives, not just smaller footprints, sustainability becomes a natural side effect of living well and not a separate task on our to do list.
Thank you so much, sir. This conversation really turns sustainability from something heavy into something hopeful. To everyone listening, remember this: sustainability is not only about what we conserve, it is about how we live, how we treat each other, and how our systems either support or sabotage a good life. When we design for dignity, health, and community, the planet benefits too. This is Anubha, and you've been listening to Simplifying Sustainability. Thanks for watching, and do catch up on our previous episodes for insights on interesting topics related to sustainability.